Hey guys, it's good, it's Danconia here, and welcome back to Overwatch Roundup. I was going to say Overwatch League Roundup, and it's not an Overwatch League Roundup. It's more of a pro Overwatch Roundup, if you see what I mean, because it kind of includes contenders as well, and the Overwatch World Cup. Basically, what I want to discuss is there's been a lot of schedule changes, right? As you will well know, if you've been watching my content on the Overwatch League, you've been keeping an eye on the Overwatch League Twitter feed, or their website, or whatever. The fixture list is out, right? The regular season of the Overwatch League, Stage 4, Week 5 I'm talking about here, doesn't end until August the 25th. Then after that, you're going to have the finals, the grand finals, obviously. And the playoffs for those grand finals. And the playoffs before the playoffs for the grand finals. Concerning teams 7 to 12. And that's going to take a good month, so I wouldn't expect Overwatch League to finish until well into October, if not November. So that's okay, right? But I'm going to raise a question in a minute, and you might already know what it is. Then we had an announcement, and this came out today by my timing, which is the 16th of January. From Overwatch Contenders, Path to Pro. They are now having a bit of a revamp to the showdowns that happen. Now, there was always the Atlantic Showdown, which would be the best team from North America, so the North America Contenders winners, versus the European Contenders winners. And it would be who's the best of the best kind of thing, apart from Korea. That's changing. So there will now be the Pacific Showdown and the Atlantic Showdown. The Pacific Showdown will take place May 24th through the 26th, and the top teams, the top team from Australia, the two top teams from China, the two top teams from Korea, and the top team from the Pacific Division will all compete in a double elimination bracket to win the Pacific Showdown. Basically, Korea's going to win the Pacific Showdown. I don't see China beating Korea. So that's fine. And May 31st through to June 2nd, we're going to have the Atlantic Showdown, which is now going to be the top two teams from Europe, the top three teams from North America, whatever, and the top team from South America. I don't understand why it isn't just 2-2-2. I know South America doesn't have quite as good of teams as Europe and North America, but why should North America get three slots? I don't understand that. Doesn't make much sense, but same thing, double elimination, and you get a winner of the Atlantic Showdown. And then I don't know whether there'll be imagine an Atlantic versus Pacific Showdown winner. That'd be interesting. But the most interesting thing is this. The Gauntlet. The pinnacle of the season will be the Gauntlet. This is Contenders, which will be held from October the 10th to October the 13th in a location to be announced soon. All top performing regions will send their teams from Season 2 to the Gauntlet. Performance in the Pacific and Atlantic Showdowns will determine specific invites. This is basically the best of the best out of Contenders. But the date is even more interesting. October the 10th to October the 13th. So what I'm thinking here is this, they're not going to put this on at the same time as the Overwatch League Grand Finals playoffs. That doesn't make any sense. Blizzard aren't that stupid. So that, I would assume, 10th to the 13th will be before the Overwatch League playoffs. I think they'll probably do the 7 to 12 playoffs, so before that. So we're talking before the Grand Finals here. Now, if you go on that reasoning, then I would assume the Overwatch League won't finish until the end of October. This means something is going to happen with the Overwatch World Cup. Because I don't see players being able to compete on both fronts. Especially as teams like France and that are going to be competing in the European qualifiers for the Overwatch World Cup. And so their French players, a lot of them of which will be playing for Paris Eternal, will have to travel from LA to France, back to LA, to France, back to LA. Not going to happen. They're not going to put on Overwatch World Cup qualifiers at the same time as the Overwatch League Grand Finals. So, considering I'm not expecting the Overwatch League Grand Finals to finish until the end of October, BlizzCon is the first week of November. There is no space for Overwatch World Cup finals qualifiers. Yeah. Don't know what's going on, but the Overwatch World Cup, I think, has lost its slot. Now, I might be wrong, obviously. They might leave the Overwatch League Grand Finals until December. Or until November, sorry. Like late November. Maybe. And that would give space for the finals of the World Cup. It wouldn't give space for qualifiers. But I could see a way round that, and they go back to their old format. From the 2016 Overwatch World Cup finals, where they didn't have a qualifier, I don't think. They just put the top performing teams through. So say the top 6 teams, or the top 8 teams, with the highest average SR in the world, their international teams will go into the World Cup finals. There won't be a qualification. And then have the finals straight at BlizzCon. Honestly, I don't see them doing that. And I'm slightly worried. Because I think we are perhaps witnessing the end of the Overwatch World Cup, or the end of the Overwatch World Cup as we know it at BlizzCon. Or they're gearing up to have the Overwatch League Grand Final at BlizzCon, possibly. I could see that. So what will happen to the Overwatch World Cup? Does it now not exist? Will it not happen in 2019? Will it be a scaled down version? Because to be quite honest, the Overwatch World Cup is pretty bloody successful. It gave rise to the Overwatch League in some respects. The Overwatch World Cup generally, qualifiers not so much, but the finals has good viewership. So why would Overwatch and Blizzard kill off the Overwatch World Cup? It seems very odd. Not sure what's going on concerning that, and honestly, if the Overwatch World Cup has just gone, that would be a crying shame. That would be criminal, to be quite honest, to take the World Cup away. But there's been no details on the 2019 Overwatch World Cup. Nothing. We don't know anything. So I would assume the schedule is going to change, considering now we have a longer Overwatch League. We have extra stuff coming from Contenders. And yeah, this is just a video to kind of highlight this issue. It's kind of gone maybe a bit under the radar, but from a few people. There is no space for the Overwatch World Cup currently. So, unless they have the qualifiers during the mid-season break of the Overwatch League, which they're not going to do, because that specifically is given for teams to go back to their home countries, get some rest, and publicity. It's not for the Overwatch World Cup qualifiers. So, I think, honestly, the Overwatch World Cup will get cancelled this year. And as much as I love the Overwatch League and Contenders, I think it's a bad move. It would be... It's a shame if it has gone. I'm not saying it has gone. They may move it to a different time, a different place. They might do something different with it. But I just don't see the time for it. considering you've got the Overwatch League starting in February and then ending in what, October, maybe even November, once grand finals are all said and done. It's not easy to get the Overwatch World Cup in between December and February again. So, and there's no big event to actually hold it. So, the biggest question I have from this video is the Overwatch World Cup dead? That is a question we will get answered in time when we get the billings for the next BlizzCon, which I know is ages away. It's 9-10 months away. But once we get the billing for the next BlizzCon, surely we will get some sort of update before that. They can't just not tell everyone what's going on with the World Cup. But something's gotta change, because all these players surely can't do all this in such a short space of time, otherwise they're going to suffer from burnout. Which is why they've changed the schedule so much for the Overwatch League this season, because there was a lot of complaints about burnout from players last season in the Overwatch League because there was no like mid-season break or anything. So yeah, this was a short video, but there are changes to the Overwatch Pro schedule, as I would call it. There are new events coming for Overwatch Contenders. The Overwatch League obviously has changed its schedule, and it doesn't leave space for the Overwatch World Cup for BlizzCon. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future. I hope the Overwatch World Cup isn't gone, but to be quite honest, I don't see how it can stay. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next video. See you then.